1931, the world was horrified by the motion picture Frankenstein. In 1990, the makers of Basket Case and Brain Damage bring you...
Want a date?
Frankenhooker.
Continuing on with our series of Halloween delicacies, and back again from after having your house blown up.
Yes.
After having your house blown up, and hope you got all the frogs cleaned off.
I did.
I don't mess with the founder, man. You can summon frogs.
You can. I've learned to fear and respect him on a deep level.
So, you can butter me up all you want. It's the founder. It's the founder you got to deal with.
You heard it here. I can butter him up all I want. This is legally binding now.
Tell us about your channel and all the good stuff you got.
It is Trash Cinema 101, or my general channel is just Logan Donahoo. All one word, that's 2 O's at the end, and that's actually my name on all forms of social media, etc. There's the cat.
There is the cat.
But yeah, Logan Donahoo on all forms of social media, on YouTube, and I have a series about bad movies on YouTube called Trash Cinema 101, which is based off of my Fringe show that I did a few years back.
So what do you have for us for Halloween?
I have a lovely movie that I remember as one of those quote-unquote USA Up All Night films that I saw at way too early of an age. It is called Frankenhooker.
Wow! Jeffrey's creation is alive.
Looking for some action?
And it is this bad B movie directed by the same guy that directed Basket Case. It's highbrow art.
Something had to be highbrow. Unfortunately, Belial was born with a lowbrow.
Oh, see what you did. You're pleased with yourself about that one.
I really am.
Good. Brain Damage.
Brain Damage.
That's the other one.
Hell is that? Hungry.
This was made in 1990, so it has that 1980s aesthetic.
So it's the classic case of the 80s trying desperately to stay alive and the 90s trying to say, hey, get the hell out.
Yeah. You know, like they probably filmed most of it late 89 / early 90, and then it's like, well... And decades don't become the decades they are like until like 2 years in.
Oh no, not at all.
So like 90s weren't the 90s until 92. So Frankenhooker, it stars a penthouse, not playmate, because that's copyrighted by Playboy, a penthouse pet named Patty Mullen. And she stars in this as the titular Frankenhooker. It's kind of like the movie The Brain That Wouldn't Die, in that there is a scientist boyfriend in this. This one, he's like barely legal. He's like 18, 19 or something. So they're like supposed to be a very young couple. The boy's like this little mad scientist. He has like the perfect sweet doting girlfriend who ends up having a freak accident where she gets decapitated. In this one, it's a lawnmower accident at a barbecue. He goes crazy and tries to keep her alive, her head alive, while he goes in search for the perfect body, or in this case, body parts, to make her. And he ends up choosing a bevy of sex workers that he seduces with a form of crack that makes them explode. And hence they end up being just body parts that he sews back together and makes a Frankenstein monster out of her.
How have we not made this a Fringe show yet?
It is dark, it is weird, it is funny, it's quotable. You'll be seeing moments in this that you'll be afterwards like, I'll just be able to turn to you and say phrases and it will trigger you. Look for bad makeup, look for gratuitous breasts.
The movie called Frankenhooker, I would actually be kind of disappointed that if they didn't go all the way on that level, that we're seeing breasts.
And it's starring a penthouse model. So, like, it's almost this kind of tacit, like, you're gonna see this.
Yes.
There's gonna be nudity.
Well, you're signing on the contract of pretty much guaranteed flesh when you're watching a movie called Frankenhooker.
I mean, she's pretty. She wears gigantic boots.
Jeffrey.
Gigantic boots. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat, as David Horgan would constantly say, don't kink shame.
No, I won't. This cat is doing laps, and it's giving us the weirdest video product ever. In this film, one of my favorite things, and it becomes this running gag.
Speaking of running gags...
Olivia. Anyway, I'm gonna hold this cat now. In this film, there is a moment where he goes for inspiration, like to clear his mind. He takes a drill and drills into his head. Like an actual, like, Black & Decker drill.
Like Pi, Darren Aronofsky.
Exactly.
Oh.
Okay, I gotta get some stewardesses.
Oh, geez.
So when people mention that scene and they're like, God, it's so original, I'm like, so Frankenhooker did it in 1990 and let it be funny, cause it is. So, yeah, this is a Pi reference before Pi knew it was Pi.
Okay, well then let us cut into this pie that was not actually pie. This is Frankenhooker.
Got any money?
You know what?
Uh-huh.
After Forbidden Zone, that was a lot easier to watch by comparison. It does explore every possibility with the premise. We definitely have to shout out praise to the lead actor, James Lorenz. I think
James Lorenz.
James Lorenz. We have to shout out praise to you because you carry this movie and you carry it so damn well.
Patty Mullen also,
Yeah.
I think, is a really good physical comedian in this, and she does so many good, fun, strange things with that character.
Her physicality's, really great. She does the lumbering awesome. But I think the thing we both were expressing just her. Yeah, she would be going through rigor mortis, so it makes perfect sense.
So, that's what I think she was trying to do. She wanted to stay realistic to the natural decomposition and
method acting in Frankenhooker. Who would have thought?
Really, it feels like it could have been a trauma film. Like it has that vibe to it, especially even when she does the monster sound. Pretzel's good. I love the idea that it starts off with this fat girl.
What is it with my Halloween movies and dubiously fat girls? Because when I watched House, and you had one of them who was quote unquote the fat one,
Mac, aka
Mac,
which was short for stomach.
Yeah,
I like the idea that it was just such a bad, simple fat suit on her. It was just padded maxi dress. That was it. Like padded pantsuit with a belt.
Tone for this movie is set almost immediately when at what was it? Her dad's birthday.
Yeah, it was her dad's birthday.
Her dad's birthday. He is at her family's house, and he is examining a brain on their dinner table.
A brain with an eyeball.
Her mother comes in and very casually.
Can you pass me the ketchup?
Pass me the ketchup. And for some reason, the ketchup is on the table next to the brain and the apparatus.
I need this table to make my coleslaw.
None of them are questioning the sanity of the fact that he is sitting there, avoiding everyone, working on the brain in the kitchen.
I mean, your dining room table was your multi-purpose table. You do your homework on it. You do your science experiments on it.
You build your cosplay on it.
Exactly.
No comment.
Yeah.
The second I look at this at the beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, I know exactly what kind of movie this is we're going into, and I have a feeling this is going to be something of a ride.
It was self-consciously silly. It knows.
It knew exactly what it wanted to be at the second it started. Going back to James Lorenz, there are scenes upon scenes where this man has no inner monologue whatsoever.
At all.
He is just expressing everything on the surface.
So he's supposed to be like a Jersey boy, like Jersey dude. Like blue-collar, working-class dude, but like way older, like a 50-year-old, 60-year-old dude, would just be mumbling to himself all those things, like just stream of consciousness, like, all right, gotta get on the train now, I've gotta go over here, wow, she's pretty, like just this like... And you'll see that like exist in a person, but he's like what, 20 maybe?
Yeah, he's got to be something like that.
Max?
He would blend in perfectly with the random lunatics walking the streets of New York talking to themselves. Nowadays, everyone looks like that because they got Bluetooth. But I mean, he spends the bulk of the movie like when he's pondering things, he's saying it all out loud. There is no. I don't know if they just had if they had the budget for ADR, maybe.
They did bad ADR towards the end, like real bad with like Zorro.
That might have been it.
Maybe because the ADR was turning out so bad, they're like, here, reshoot it. Just go ahead and...
Yeah.
But his mumbles, I think, were funnier and made more sense. And he was mic'd well.
This is one of those movies that I would never, ever want to have a high budget. This is one of those things that part of its character and part of its the fun of it is the budget. I mean, it is very blatantly obvious mannequins that are getting blown up by super crack.
Oh yeah, but like the poses that the mannequins are in, and that they're like just stuffed with sparklers.
Yeah, they're stuffed with Roman candles and sparklers and possibly even some fountains.
I know they probably do not have a making of feature out of this anywhere. But I would love to know exactly how they did that, because like...
Shout Factory, get on this.
Yes.
Yes.
Criterion. No, I'm doing the Hail Mary pass Criterion. This is my color purple curse hand. If you do 3 fingers at somebody, everything you've done to me already been done to you. So if you... What? So, Criterion, get on this. I want a director's cut. I want a special edition.
I want the signature of the director on the sticker, on the plastic, when you buy it at Barnes & Noble. There was a level of authenticity, particularly when he goes into, the bar and there's an old lady doing the striptease dance. I'm like, I get the vibe that they may have actually they may have actually hired everyone who just happened to be in the bar at that time.
They give credit to the bar at the end. It was like a really dirty name, like Ben Dover's Bar or something.
Ben Dover's Bar, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this must have been, like, because that was actually the era, that was the pre-Giuliani New York City.
Yeah.
And that was still when it was dirty downtown, and you would go to Times Square, and it would be a little bit of a tourist trap, but it was mostly like strip joints and like really like naughty things. So
wow. So I guess this does kind of represent a little time capsule of New York that New York doesn't want us to remember. No. Frankenhooker is the last true New York movie.
In a way, one of the last.
Yeah.
One of the last.
He goes to harvest hookers under the alias Jersey Boy.
I had to make a few changes, that's all. There wasn't enough of you left to fry an egg with.
Drawing with the red Sharpie.
He's drawing with the red Sharpie.
Sharpie on the Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy, and he has Grey's Anatomy.
The book.
Probably one of the most poorly conceived book safes we've ever seen.
It just falls apart the minute he opens it.
Didn't even glue the pages together. John Wick would be ashamed of you. The one thing I'm happy to say about this movie is that I don't think there would ever be an interest in remaking it.
No.
Which is good, because I don't think...
It shouldn't.
It's one of those ones where there's a singular magic to it that is only... And again, never think in my life I'd ever say singular magic to something like this.
The singular magic
of Frankenhooker.
Can that be the title of this video? The singular magic of
There may be the subtitle right after Rare Delicacies, Frankenhooker, the singular magic. There is a place for this movie. I mean, matter of fact, this is the kind of movie that you would screen at at adults-only Halloween parties.
Yes.
Easily.
Amongst friends that you know can like laugh at this. Yeah. That's why it got a second life on like USA Up All Night and like weird bad movie programming. Cause like, oh look, this is stuff to watch with friends at a party. Yet if you miss the plot line, it's fine. Like you're not. It's image and spectacle and one-liners.
People always poke fun at me for saying I love things like Sharknado, and I'm like, guys.
But it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, anyone who's hating on Sharknado just doesn't get why people are loving Sharknado. The whole reason we love them is that they have no shame about what they are, and they own the mantle proudly.
Yeah.
This is just the same. This is in the same vein. This is something that, and the best part is this movie. As I said, it sets the tone right from the get-go. And as soon and if you are receptive to the wavelength that this movie is feeding you, everything that comes along will delight you. Yeah. To no end, even down to Cronenberg-esque
oh my God.
Prostitute parts. One major aspect that happens in this plot is after his girlfriend gets completely mutilated and her head, he keeps the head preserved in a tub of estrogen bath, like his own special concoction.
It's like magenta.
Yeah, it's like this
tub.
Lovely lavender red. I would imagine it smells wonderful.
It probably smells like rose petals.
It probably does. It probably makes
a lush bath bomb.
Oh my God. There needs to be a bath bomb shaped like Elizabeth's head.
Elizabeth's head that just decomposes.
Elizabeth's head, and it turns the entire bath.
And then you dip yourself into it. And then put a love note between your fingers and put your thing. It's so good. And, like, the fact that his, like, estrogen glue is this, like, lavender paste that he just puts on, swunks his, like welder mask on, and just...
Most Frankenstein adaptations, you see him sewing them together. This one, he's got a freaking, like... You know, freaking Wayne Zelinsky, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids welder mask on. Yes. And he did a crap job, by the way. You know, freaking Zorro knocked her head off. Yeah. He kept the spine intact, at least. But even then, I was like, dude, you should have probably considered putting those bolts on sooner.
Yeah, he only got the reinforcement later.
Then again, admittedly, when she came to being, she didn't exactly give him time to. But it all culminates into and yet, in the end, we get a kind of Tales from the Crypt kind of ending to it, which, I mean, funny thing is, there was a part of me going, I kind of would like to see where this goes from here, but I have a vibe, but I had the sense that this is where it's ending.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have wanted a Frankenhooker 2, and in a weird way, I don't know, the plot...
Frankenhooker?
Frankenhooker. Oh my god. So, like, it ends with the big reveal of, like, oh my god, spoilers. So at the very end, it reveals that she's put a woman's body onto him, all the various female body parts.
Because he can only reanimate women's bodies.
Yes, and so she now has taken the role of the doctor and has put his lifeless head onto this corpse, and so he's like feeling around. There's this perfect moment where they're like rated R, and so they cover the like genitals of the mannequin, and he's like feeling around with one other one.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, what did you do?
And it's very obviously a fake puppet body, but
like it looks like it's his head and a real arm on a foam body.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's a real woman's arm behind there touching around, because it's like thin fingers with fingernails on it, and it's actually like movable. So like she's feeling around, and oh my gosh. And, like, cut to blackout, credits. Anything after that would have not been as funny. I can't imagine it being as, like, interesting.
I don't think it could fill a feature, but there's a little part of me, like, saying, at the very least, I'd like to see how the conversations with his mother go out. But then again, given how casual his mother is about the fact he keeps a brain with an eye in a fish tank, I bet she would have been totally nonplussed about the whole thing.
Not only casual, but like praising him, like, God, you're so talented. Why don't you go back to medical school?
Go back to medical school after this.
This isn't healthy for you. I worry.
Yeah.
The way she says it, it's so... Like, all of her lines are whispered and with this kind of world weariness.
There's a sincerity in this performance. And it's one of those times where you question whether or not they actually told the actors what movie she's in.
I think they did, because she's doing levels. Like, so he's being the mad scientist and she's playing counter to it. So, like, for her to instead be the sincere one and him be dismissive, that is a dynamic that works. Vice versa. Frankenhooker being this, like, crazed, loud...
Got any money?
...character. So basically, she turns into a parrot.
Yeah,
is what it is.
She turns into a sexy parrot, yeah.
Got any money? Want a date?
And for him to be the sincere, like, no, Elizabeth, I can help you. And then, poof, and just lumbers off.
Money?
It's to play opposites, and it works.
Yeah. Whenever she has sex with people, they
explode. Electricity.
Or as many have made the joke, come and gone.
Oh, that was wonderful.
And going and coming and always too soon.
And then she had the African-American forearm.
Oh, yeah. But there's a section of her arm that's from one of the black prostitutes.
Yeah. So, like, painted on stitches here, painted on stitches here, and then just, like, brown body paint, which... it's a quick nod to the fact that there was multiple different races of prostitutes there. Thank God they didn't do it with, like, half her face or something. Like, that would have been like, okay. Look.
Yeah, thank God for that. I was honestly impressed he was able to salvage some of those limbs, given the fact that they, again, it exploded like freaking party balloons. And you actually credit to the prop master, for having the detail to make some of the ends.
Oh, like they were like really burnt up.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, I'm surprised any of those limbs were still usable after that.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, it's super crack! And like just they all scream and like throw him down and start smoking.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. He did ask for like 6 different women. That was gonna happen.
And he has that one-liner when the two girls start making out. I'm like, stop doing that!
It's
unnatural! Your bodies weren't meant to do that! And they're just kissing. You're like, I love that. I love little one-liners like that.
Yes, but the one that we have not talked about Zorro.
The horrible rando bodybuilder they hired to play this role.
It looked like they put Shipwreck's head on He-Man's body.
He has this little head.
Tiny head. This big roided out, over-tanned body.
Yeah. Like the shrunken head of Geraldo Rivera strapped to He-Man.
Yeah.
Was what was going on.
And I love that all of his girls had a brand.
Yeah, that brand or like cutting that's on like one arm.
And here I'm going like, okay, I guess they also beat out Immortan Joe. So the first time I saw the mark, I was like, Oz?
Yeah. It's a Return to Oz reference.
Yeah. Touch her, and if she's green, scream Oz, you get your friend back. In the end, final conclusion, I am definitely putting this on the menu, but I'm putting this in kind of like the special menu of the stuff that's very high calorie, very bad for you, but the same thing you gotta have anyway.
It's the barrel of Costco cheese balls.
Yes.
You're gonna eat it in one sitting. It's delicious, but it is not good for you.
It's the kind of food that you have at the party. Mm-hmm. It will be the life of the party.
It's a party food film.
Totally is. Yes, including the cheap beer and anything cheap that you would have for your Halloween party. This movie is the embodiment of it.
It is fueled purely by PBR, super crack, and cheese balls.
And that is exactly why Frankenhooker is totally glued to our Halloween menu.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.